Hail to legal warriors. My office has been getting a lot of phone calls lately about theft cases involving juveniles. Now, that's a whole different thing when it comes to the criminal law. And I want to cover what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should know, and what you need to know in case you're in this type of situation, you or a family member. If you're interested in this area of the law, stay tuned. This is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Linwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington State for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get to see this. More people get the help they need. Now, as always, I'm just going to jump right into it. What do I mean by a juvenile theft case? Well, theft in Washington State means we took some property or we took some services of somebody without paying for it. But in a juvenile case, we're probably talking some type of shoplifting, right? Going to Macy's or Nordstrom or somewhere and not paying for something. And when I say a juvenile case, in Washington State, the juvenile court has jurisdiction over kids or minors accused of crimes if that minor is, of course, under 18 years of age. So if someone is 17 and steals something from a store, that's going to likely go to the juvenile court, and I'll cover why likely here in a minute. And if they're 18, that's going to go to the adult court. Now, in general, juvenile court jurisdiction is over anyone under 18. There's an exception for criminal traffic cases. 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds, DUIs, reckless driving, stuff like that, they actually go to adult court at 16 and 17, and a lot of people don't know that. But moving back to the topic of this video, juvenile theft case, what usually happens is I get a call, or my firm gets a call from a parent that says, hey, I'm really worried. My child, my 15-year-old, my 16-year-old just got stopped. I'm really mad, and they stole something, but I don't want their future to be ruined. What do I do? Well, it's a little bit different in a juvenile case than an adult case. In an adult case, if you're in a city or somewhere, most of the police officers have the power just to cite someone right into court, and they have a court date right away. In juvenile court, it's a whole different theory. In juvenile court, they actually don't call the suspects defendants, they call them respondents, because the juvenile court is providing services to the juvenile, right? It's a different focus of the law. It's not necessarily about punishment. Some of it's about rehabilitation. And that means in those situations, the officer is not going to cite the young person directly into court. They're going to send a referral to the prosecutor's office. And each county has their own juvenile version of the prosecutor's office. And in most counties, that referral is going to just get into a big stack, and it's going to be looked at by a prosecutor. And here's where it's a little bit different. Most of the time on a juvenile theft case, I end up telling a parent that you probably do not need an attorney. This doesn't mean they still may want one, and still may be a good idea to get one, but that word need I say that for a particular reason. Because in Washington State, for certain types of offenses, juveniles can be eligible at the discretion of the prosecutor for something called diversion. Basically, each juvenile can be offered up to 2 diversions under Washington State law. And so for a routine shoplifting case, it's a pretty good chance that when the prosecutor looks at it, that they will refer that case to their diversion department if they have one, and most counties do. Not all of them, so you definitely want to talk to an attorney, but most counties do. And what's that mean? Diversion. Well, it's a little bit what it sounds like. It's like, here's an opportunity, juvenile, for you to participate in a diversion program, and we'll never even file your criminal case into the court at all. The juvenile court will never even see a complaint against the juvenile. That's really good, right? We don't have to worry about anything on our record if it never even gets to court. Usually there's going to be a big packet of information sent out, and then the juvenile needs to fill it out with their parents, and then there'll be some type of appointment typically set to meet with some type of diversion counselor. And I can only speak for the couple counties around here. King County, Snohomish County are pretty close. And so we see more of those than other counties, although we do work in many, many counties throughout Washington State. But usually the juvenile will show up, talk to the diversion counselor, and they'll be offered, you don't have to do this, a chance to participate in the diversion program, assuming that they act reasonably and humbly to the probation person. And they might recommend they do some community service hours, do some type of counseling. they'll give an opportunity, hey, if you do these things, then we'll let you successfully complete diversion and close out this referral without ever filing it into court. And so, do you need an attorney for that? Well, you might want an attorney to advise you what to do, but I don't suggest you bring an attorney with you to some type of meeting with probation unless you have particularly strong needs, because it can make it a bit adversarial, and it's not set up to be an adversarial system. We want to look at probation people as there to help us in the juvenile court, a lot different than the adult court, because a lot of people look at probation as the people that are going to, enforce bad things when we get in trouble in adult court. And juvenile court, they have the same name as probation. I think that's a bad name, but that's what they're called. They have a different focus. It's like, hey, how can we help the youthful offender as opposed to the defendant? Now, there may be times you don't want to take the diversion. You want to talk to an attorney. That might be if it's a more, it's a more personal case and you don't want to have to do anything and you really want to stand up to the other side. Usually we'll try to talk someone out of that, but everyone has their own reasons for making a decision. So in a juvenile theft case, you're still likely going to get a demand from the store for money. If you've watched this station at all, we have plenty of videos on theft in the third degree. We have a video on what to do with civil demands from stores. But in Washington State, there's something called a shopkeeper statute. If somebody is stopped, including a juvenile, taking something from a store, the store can basically ask for liquidated damages. And most stores will. Some won't. Costco won't. A couple other places won't. But for the most part, you're going to get a demand for money. And then I often get asked by the parent, do I still need to pay this? Well, I would usually say, yes, we still want to pay the civil demand so we can try to get a release from the store, so we could eventually try to ask for a compromise of misdemeanor. We have a couple of videos on that too, I think, which is a way to get a case dismissed when we've paid the civil demand. Now, if we don't pay the civil demand, it's not going to be fatal to the criminal case, but at the same time, you're probably going to get followed up by collections. They could sue you for it because they are legally allowed to ask for a certain amount of money plus the value of the items that were taken from the store. So yes, we still probably should deal with the civil demand. If you have a private attorney, do it through that attorney's office so the attorney's more likely to get a release from the store that may help your child's criminal case going forward. Paying the civil demand doesn't make the criminal case go away, but it does allow us to possibly to do some things to improve our chances of making the criminal case go away. Now, moving on, you heard me talk about that 17-year-old example, that is probably going to go to juvenile court. This is the big gotcha, and maybe I should have put it earlier in the video, but I just talk of these things off the top of my head. The big gotcha is, even if we're 17 when we do an alleged crime, if the prosecutor waits until we're 18 to get to it, we automatically get stuck in adult court. So if you have someone, your child is within 6 months or so of turning 18, you better get an attorney so that attorney can bother the prosecutor's office to get them to make a decision more quickly. Because once somebody turns 18, even if they did it, 6 to 8 months ago, a year ago, once they turn 18, the juvenile court loses jurisdiction. And now we're no longer a respondent, we're a defendant, right? It's a whole different thing in adult court. We don't want to lose that jurisdiction. Now, I will give credit. Most of the counties around here will get to things in time. There was a case in our office pretty recently. There was only 3 or 4 weeks we had until someone was 18, and I think they did get to it in time, but they don't always. And so since this is your child's future, if they're anywhere near 18, you probably should get an attorney to try to get this thing moved more quickly so there's a chance that your child can stay in the juvenile court and get the services of the juvenile court as opposed to the punishment of the adult court. So what's the bottom line here? If you have a juvenile in your life that gets accused of theft, assuming it's a first offense, let's look at what their birthday is, when do they turn 18. Let's not panic. Let's realize we may get a diversion packet in the mail. Let's make a decision if we still think we need an attorney. You can consult with one, and hopefully, you'll make what decision is right for you and your family, and realize that for the most part, juvenile cases aren't going to track us for the rest of our life. There's sealing, there's auto sealing, there's all different types of things that happen because the juvenile court operates to improve people's lives for the most part. There's some exceptions, major felonies. Of course, there are some punishment there too. But if you, in this situation, I want you to, just let's think about why it is our kid did this. That's more important. Let's get to those reasons. where you can reach out to an attorney, but I don't want you to panic because most of the time a juvenile theft case is going to turn out in a positive manner. So I hope you found this useful. If so, please like and please subscribe. More people get the help they need. More importantly, if you got a young person who's accused of a crime somewhere in Washington State, you could feel free to give my office a call. We get on board, we'll listen to what happened, we'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.